Hey guys, welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod. We have Ashutosh Tiwari with us today. He's founder at Laservision AI. He's been featured on Forbes India, the Gem Select 200. He's an AI optimist, so we're gonna talk about his company. He's also co-founder at Job Offers altogether, an Indian job offering website. Pretty cool background he has. This podcast is presented to you by podpire.com. If you want to start your podcast, if you want to monetize your podcast with AI, you can go to podpire.com. That is my company. We help you get paid through AdSense. We help you get sponsors. We help you get leads through podcasting and AI outreach. It's pretty fascinating what you can do with that. So podpire.com. Ash, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Thanks for having me. Hey everyone, this is Ashutosh. I'm the founder of Laservision AI, currently heading product development at Laservision. Overall, I'm like a true fan of Iron Man. So my journey started around the big movie basically. So the moment I saw the movie, I always wanted to build a system like Jarvis, which can be your assistant, always available, do cool stuff for you. That's how I started, my first venture specifically into AI. Slowly, gradually, the way I started building around, I realized that every enterprise, they all are struggling a lot with unstructured data. So I thought, like, why not we build a solution which can actually solve this data level problem for the enterprises? And that's how Laser Vision AI came into the picture. So we are basically building Laser Vision AI with the aim to eliminate 80% of the enterprise unstructured data which they are dealing with. And with the help of our tool, they can also drive insight out of unstructured data, which was not possible before. So we built a first product, which is job offers. So this is our first product. So this is basically our first use case, which we figured it out that HRs, recruiters have to struggle a lot with their resumes. Like they are getting a lot of applicants, right? So we thought, can we do it something? So we built one engine which will take hardly 20 seconds and it can read more than 1,000 resumes in a while. And it will give you who are your top 10 match candidates. And the best part is not just it, the beauty is you can also predict work personality just understanding the resume. So now it's very easier rather than talking to any candidate at level 2, level 3, you can do it at level 1. The data was always there, but people was not aware about it. So we have the system, and now the aim is to build it like a Java so that it can go into any enterprise process and it can eliminate unstructured data at super fast pace. Charles, you're on mute.
Thank you. Are CVs still a thing? Don't people use like LinkedIn to recruit nowadays? And aren't there like a thousand other competitors in that niche?
Well, technically, we are coming into the picture after sourcing. So LinkedIn and other platforms, they are primarily into sourcing. We do have definitely competitors in the market, but the best part is we are focusing a lot on context. Right now, 95% of the platform, they are primarily focusing on keyword-based searches. But the beauty of our engine is we are primarily focusing more towards context, understanding your clear intent behind the sentence rather than just understanding and playing with keywords. So this is what making us true unbeatable. That's why even though Forbes India DGEMs Select 200 featured us, one of the 200 powerful companies which have like global potential.
But why don't these companies just feed like the full CV to ChatGPT? For example, seems like a pretty simple startup ideas. It seems that it's easily disruptable.
Mhm. Well, let me tell you a very interesting thing. So, number one part is whenever you deal with any LLM, first thing is you have to deal a lot with hallucination, right? So, this is number one. Number second, whenever you will deal any LLM, there is a rate limit specifically in terms of feeding the context. So, let's suppose if you are screening candidate, you are receiving thousands of applications. You can feed maximum 10 application in one time, and you have to give prompt again and again. So, a lot of things have to be done there. Second part, LLMs are just generating text. LLMs cannot evaluate things or it cannot give you a logical or analytical answer behind that. For that, you need a very strong algorithms which will basically understand the data which you are feeding. You need more strong ML models around it. So that's why doing things with GPT and other solutions is little tough. It's not impossible. It will definitely eventually will happen when we'll reach to AGI kind of stage. But right now it's not. It's a little hard to do it. But so that's why we build around all these structures. So LLMs is our foundational model. But we are using LLM as a foundation. Then we have our own algorithms which are doing analytical work like screening, understanding the context and other things.
Okay. Because yeah, I could build like such an app in a spreadsheet quite easily, and I feel that like GPT 4.0, I feel that the hallucination problem is almost gone. Have you seen that too, or do you still see hallucination and you really need to prompt it in a box so that it doesn't go out of it?
Well, technically, if you will do it like probably once or twice, you will not see the hallucination. But whenever you will repeat the process more than 5 times, you will start seeing the hallucination there. So there always be hallucination. See, like there is a technical reason why this will happen with all LLM models. The all LLM, like the LLMs are basically general foundational models, right? They're generating text based on your inputs. They are not doing any kind of analytics behind that. Probably there are some, but on limited context. So now, if we talk about why we need more understandable models or more logical models, because whenever we talk about driving context behind any sentence or any word, we need more logical thinking, more analytical thinking. That's why we need more improved model. So far with GPT and other models, like there are some restrictions, but slowly, gradually, when we'll reach at AGI stage, then probably we'll have some more capable models which can even though replicate human or human brain or something like that.
Right, right. Yeah, so I guess the hallucination rate, we could say like 1% or from 0.1 to 1%, depending on what model you use, or what prompt you use. But thanks for clarifying that. Like, I'm curious also to hear your thoughts. Do you think that job seekers will be a thing for long? Because we're seeing like AI agents that are being deployed. That's like really the next thing. It's very logical as well. Yes, human adoption is very slow, but I don't see like career seekers, or at least like 80 to 90% of them in the next couple of years scaling. But I do see companies hiring AI agents that I can see. What is your take on that?
Well, a lot of tasks which involve manual interventions will be replaced by AI very soon. It's just a matter of time. Like so, I have a lot of friends who are primarily building agents. So I always used like always have this kind of discussion that are we going to replace humans? Well, technically, wherever there is a analytical and logical work, we need humans, no doubt about it. But a lot of manual tasks, which probably been replaced by RPA in 2012 or 13, right? When we see UI path came into the picture, they started building RPA processes. Now you do not need to manually enter things into the forms. You can do it to set up a workflow around it. Well, this thing was already being done with these kind of RPA companies. We are just taking it to the another level. Now we are giving a thinking level capability to the existing RPA automations. So I believe a lot of like manual works where you are spending a lot of time, unnecessary time, which can be replaced by machine. So I think like those things will be replaced by AI in AI agents in coming years. And whatsoever my research, my analysis is based on the available trend. What I can see is like we are very close to become or to build a AGI solution. I'm like pretty sure that before 2030, we'll see a very prominent AGI MVP at least in the market.
That's interesting. Yeah. I feel that UI paths, their UI and their UX is shit, right? Like I think they're made for large, very, very large enterprise. And I think that's why ChatGPT's agents will disrupt the whole thing. I
Hmm.
think it's just not easy to build an agent on UiPath. It's
Hmm.
built by technical people that think technically, right? While they should
Yeah.
think like a mortal human being, a no coder.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that will change the game. I tried UiPath not so long ago. It was still confusing. Also,
Mhm.
the price point is way too elevated. But yeah, I think Claude is the next one, and Anthropic to deploy like agents, and then ChatGPT will follow course and just like break everything.
Mhm.
It'll be an interesting future. So apparently you're like inspired by Jarvis. Why did your obsession start with this? Like mine in entrepreneurship, it started with the movie Limitless, right? The pill that
Amazing
this
movie.
guy took. And I became a biohacker, started
Mhm.
optimizing my brain. That was my first business. The Jarvis interface is like this smart AI that you talk to. Like
Mhm.
how close are we to that vision? Because Siri is total shit. ChatGPT is great when you talk to it, right? So how
Right.
close are we to that vision, and how do you want to contribute to the Jarvis AI vision?
Well, so let's first address the question that why I started my journey, after looking into Jarvis, or why specifically Jarvis is my inspiration. Well, if you will see the lifestyle of Iron Man, right, you will realize that he is very engineering. Uh, he have an engineering mind, but you also have a very, which I personally say to everyone, that it's a god gift, that if you are genius, along with you have all the resources, right? So he have all those things, like he have resources, he have a great mind, he can actually solve problems very great. So during my college time, I was a very very big fan of understanding fundamental problems, because so I have an engineering background. I did uh, I have basically like not a specific tech background, so my journey was very non-technical. I studied civil engineering. I used to understand what's the size of brake, how you can use mortar, all these things. But then, but computer science was always an passion for me. So during my college time, I figured it out that engineering will give me the perspective to understand problems in fundamental level. So the moment I have this level of understanding, I can actually go beyond what people can see. So that's how I get the clarity. Then the moment I saw the movie, I realized that okay, if something like this, so I always believe in this philosophy. If you can imagine it, you can actually do it. And let's suppose if you have this thought, probably someone already have executed that thing for you. Let's take an example of Brian Johnson, right? I'm a big fan of him. He's actually doing real biohacking, right? He's actually trying to defeat death, which is super interesting concept. But technically, pr- it's super hard. You have to spend a lot of resources to understand your life first. We are still at a human level understanding how we actually get into the shape, which is our life. So same with the Jarvis. So the moment I saw that, I realized that to reach this level of intelligence where your machine can take more smarter decisions than you, it's super hard to do it. But by any chance, is literally anybody is trying to do something around it? I realized that no one was actually doing something like that. That time, people were doing it, but in a stealth mode. Then now we have example of GPT in the picture. GPT was what already introduced, like LLM was already introduced early on in the market, but nobody actually took interest in that. But the moment we have this application GPT, it go viral in less than 24 hours. So this is the interesting part. So I generally notice this kind of trend in the market. So whenever you will go and look for products who are getting referred by their user rather than based on the time, and you have repetitive customers, repetitive users or customers, whatsoever you want to say, you will realize that those products are generally the one who will actually go and stay for a longer run. So let's take an example of Windows. So when Windows came into the picture, people were referring that, oh, go use Windows. Second example for founders specifically, I'm a big fan of Superhuman, right? The email assistant. You will realize that founders are referring to each other that, oh, you should use this, you should. So, so generally, this kind of behavior, whenever you will see this kind of pattern with any product, you will realize that this product is going to stay for a longer run, and probably you will see if the founders super smart and if they have a good talent, they will actually figure it out that they can go and break into any market. If I talk about Indian market, I am a big fan of Kunal Shah. So he's the founder of Cred. He's building his second venture in India. And the best part is, so he started cred as a lifestyle brand, but 95% of the cred user don't even know that cred is the lifestyle brand. People know that cred is the app where you can go and pay your credit card bills. But the interesting part is the cred actually trying to build a very exclusive community of people who are very credit worthy. So this is the interesting part. Understand things beyond what you can see. So Jarvis always give me this kind of thing, that okay, so whenever Iron Man get into any critical situation, you will see that Jarvis is there to guide. No, sir, you have to take a different path. You can choose different route, or you can do something like that. So these kind of things always excites me, and that's how I thought, okay, let's start building something around it. Can we do something? So first experiment which I did, I actually turned my a laptop into a very fancy. I set up speech recognition, which was like very interesting tool of Windows. I don't know people even use it or not, but it's very interesting feature that you can speak with your computer. If you can say open my computer, automatically my computer will open. So this was my first interaction with this kind of technology. It was always there, but people never used it. So that's how I started. That's how things started.
Right. It's funny though that like people with very rational mindsets like you and I and engineering type of thinking start or vision with something very rational, right? Like a Hollywood
Right.
vision. Um, like, and it's very fucking hard to build a Jarvis. It's really fucking hard to create an NZT pill. It's a
Correct.
vision that might take 50 to 100 years to build. So it's interesting that
Correct.
everyone is motivated by the irrational, but yeah, we try to make step by step plans to achieve our vision. So what is your vision, and how far are you into it, and what do you do when it gets hard and you get stalled and there's no progress?
Oh, interesting question. If I talk about vision, I personally see I'm still like 20, 30 years behind what the way I'm seeing things into action. Uh, so with laser vision, what we are planning is we'll actually understand every hard, complex challenges in each industry, which are where they are facing problem because of unstructured data, and we'll try to build product around it. So it's like it's going to be like a AI vision suite which will have a lot of products in multiple categories which can be used by enterprises to actually fight against the unstructured data problem. Now how far we are actually super far, because if we look into this, I so far understand that I whatsoever product I have, that standalone have capability to cater more than $70 billion market. Now if I talk about future, probably things will be like I still have a lot of market to cover, right? So now if I talk about how we will reach there and why I am saying that we are still like 20 years behind, because technology is still evolving. The way I'm looking into things, I personally feel that we'll get a lot of interesting technology in coming 4 or 5 years. Let's take an example. Let's take example of so whenever if you remember, like just name any application which you have in your mind whenever I talk about social media in 2010.
Twitter,
You will Twitter, right? Or probably
Facebook.
Orkut was there, Facebook was there, right? But now if I talk about today, we have like n number of social medias, and not just that. In 2010 we were using social media to get connected with people, but now we use social media to actually sell things. Social media is no more just a people connection, it's beyond people connection now. Same with the AI technology. Whatsoever we have, it's a very early version of AI, whether it's GPT, Claude, Cohen's, Perplexity. They all are like a very, very, very initial version. So in next like 3 4 years, we'll also see a hardware level changes, hardware level evolvement also, because NVIDIA is doing super cool stuff in the market. Not just that, because NVIDIA already have a good market, so we know that NVIDIA is doing, but a lot of other small players are actually about to build a very strong chipset which can actually optimize your existing AI functions and AI capabilities up to 10x whatsoever NVIDIA are giving to you right now. So overall, we'll see a lot of changes in technology, and that's why I believe that whatsoever I think about future, it doesn't matter, because in the end whatever new will come, our vision will actually evolve around that thing. So technically, it will go long, but so whenever you, so I read somewhere that whenever you want to evaluate how what progress you are making about life, I always see vision as a life. So you have to count that in decades. You cannot count in years. So that's why I said like 2 decades, like 20 years at least, because then only we will be see, okay, we started like this, but now we have these things. Same, initially there were just big telephones. Now we have watches which can actually do almost everything which our phone can do, right? So if but we cannot see that in that 1 2 year, but now if we'll see probably after 10 20 years we can see, okay, there are a lot of progress that we have made. Now if I talk about what I do specifically whenever I got stuck with problems, because this building this these kind of things is super hard. like uh, like probably you are waking up with a good inspiration that you will do something great, and after 3 4 hours you are realizing that, okay, again you have taken a very wrong stuff in your hand. Now you have to deal with a lot of things. So in that case, so I am a more spiritual guy, so would love to go and spend some time with nature and specifically with myself. So whenever I got stuck, I always go and do some meditation, because I believe that whenever I am clear in terms of my thought, my problem will automatically solve. And I personally feel it whenever I got stuck. I started relaxing myself, because of problem we humans loves to overcomplicate everything. We are a negativity attractor, right? So whenever there will be a negative thought in your brain, you can even do this experiment. Even your listeners can try it out. Whenever you have a negative thought, you can actually check it out that you can triple it or like 10x the negativity in less than 10 seconds. But whenever you have a positive thought, you will realize after a second thought or third thought, you will get a negative thought. Oh, no, no, this thing will not work it out. You have to think around it. So this is the beauty of human brain. So I know that I will unnecessarily make my problem more complicated. So I usually go and just take a break specifically from my work, and I just do meditate. So I, whenever I am in the meditative state, I always, just I generally practice the breathing. I follow a specific breathing pattern, which helps me a lot specifically during meditation to give to get a state, specifically a mind state where I can think more clearly about problem and how can I solve that. And generally in hour or two, or sometimes in a days, I couple of days, I generally get the answer that, okay, that's how we'll solve this problem. And this is the beauty, and if I talk about engineering experience, right? So when I was in my college, I used to do a lot of projects, and every time whenever I'm doing a project, I always go more towards practical projects rather than just writing reports. So I all engineering is all up like super hard. When you have to make a bridge, it's super hard, super hard. Even though if you are building with models like plain fiber sheets, you will face a lot of challenges, because mathematics is same, and every problem, you will see every problem. I personally believe that mathematics play a very important role in our life, and if we try to solve everything mathematically, we can actually drive very simple solution of our problems, which we generally don't do. So I think that's how I generally make myself calm and go more towards inner self. I always look internally, that where I'm lacking, rather than focusing on people, what people are doing wrong with me, or what's the environment. So generally I don't follow this route. I always go internal first.
I like that. Yeah, when I started in entrepreneurship, I think meditation had a very important spot as well. Nowadays, I sort of need to force it on myself in these busy,
Hmm.
packed days. But yeah, there's certainly other forms of meditations like walking in the nature with my dogs and chilling
Right.
and reading and yeah, getting in the sauna, get a lot of ideas there because there's no technology. It's just me and my mind, right? Um,
Correct.
or physical activity. Workouts are really good to generate serotonin in the brain. So yeah,
Yeah.
because it will get hard in entrepreneurship. I mean, there's no other way, like you need to sort of love pain and be
100%.
resilient and be a solution finder because it gets really fucking hard. It's all happy and jolly vision, right? But you need to get
Correct.
shit done 95% of the time. The vision is maybe
Right.
5% there to propel you. So important lessons out there. What's next for your company? You started it like a year ago or maybe a bit more. What do you want to accomplish in 2025?
Well, specifically for 2025, my vision is to at least build one profitable product because I don't want to build something just to sake of building something, right? My aim is to find a very relevant problem which can be solved with one of our product. And not just that, we also want to drive a very big revenue out of it. So the ultimate goal is to find more unit economical path so that whenever we go into market, we can prove okay, this is not something which we are doing just to say because we wanted to do entrepreneurship or something like that. Because my co-founder, like we all have the same mindset that we need so, so even though with job offers also, when we started building it out, we first make our sale, then made our sale, then we move into building the whole full-fledged product. So with the new upcoming products, we are also thinking in the same way. We'll go and first get some initial traction in terms of probably future intent or and something like that. And then based on that, we will, build around it. So by 2025, the goal is pretty simple that we'll go find a very strong problem which we can solve with one of our product and that can also give us a very good number in terms of revenue also.
Love it. And where can people find out more about you?
Well, specifically for me, like I think like the best part is to check out our LinkedIn page, like specifically my profile. So LinkedIn is one of my main source of communication. I'm not more active on Twitter or other platform. Just trying to be active on Twitter. Just started doing it, but I don't know why Twitter algos always, they generally don't promote my tweets. So not sure. So like LinkedIn is best to reach out and my email ID. That's it.
I was Ash Tiwari